social anxiety is something that we all experience every now and then, right? But for some people, it's an actual problem where it gets in their way of their ability to actually make friends and build a social circle, which is not good. So for people that really experience it at that level, is it because of human nature and just like personal genetics, or is it more of childhood experiences and social environment?
It's more of childhood experiences. And I notice in my practice, a lot of people who I treat for social anxiety, uh, they're usually very high functioning on the autism spectrum,
Hmm.
right? And they tend to work in the STEM field, right? And they're very intelligent people, but they have this intense fear of socializing with people. And I think part of the issue is a lot of them were not diagnosed until later in life. What happens is with the parents is that if Junior is doing well in school and getting along reasonably well, he flies under the radar. They don't notice that Junior has a problem socializing until he's in high school, maybe
Hmm.
towards the end of graduation. And I said, "Hey, this is a big problem."
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So it seems like it's more childhood experiences. Now, you mentioned that most people they don't really get really treated until they get a bit older, right? So for parents, how do you know if your kid is just like shy and kind of on the like quiet side versus someone that actually has a real social problem?
Does he have any friends in school? Does he, if the kid is very very young, does he get invited to uh birthday parties? If you attend a parent teachers conference, what is the teacher saying about your son? How well your son uh behaves or gets along with other kids? And because parents tend to be focused on how the kid is performing in school, which is very important, but also keep a lookout for that. Keep a lookout for that.
Okay, okay. Now, when it comes to friends, like, is there a certain amount of friends they should have? Because sometimes people can have social anxiety and only have one friendship, but that friendship can be a bad influence, right? So, like, how do you know, like, how many friends a person needs? Because obviously, this is going to depend on who the kid is, like, just, on like a normal, uh, like personal level. So, like, how many friends should they have in general, if you had to say?
Um, you know, Anywhere from 3 to 5,
Okay, cool.
right? With three being
Hmm.
on the low end, more quiet kids will have a close best friend, and it's something to, you know, point out and notice. And if a kid's birthday, if you, this is if your child is young, child's birthday is coming up, and dad says, "Hey, I'd like to invite some kids from your classroom to the birthday party," right? And
Yeah.
that's when it comes out. That's when it comes
Okay.
out and about where your kid is.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty interesting. So, why do they have this like natural tendency to go into STEM?
Well, in my experiences working with individuals like this, I find that they're just very bright in the STEM field. They're very bright in the maths and sciences, extremely bright, and uh, and it seems that there's a trade-off with how bright they are and just how well they're able to socialize and get along with other people. And it's not that they don't want to socialize; it's that there's just an awkwardness for it. I think part of the issue that happens is, especially when you're dealing with people on the spectrum, is that uh, their their ability to think logically and reason and do well in math and the sciences
Yeah.
is more advanced than their peers. And then their ability to read social cues, socialize, get along is less advanced, right? And most parents miss out on this because if you address this earlier on, you can make changes. Because I work with teenagers with social anxiety, and I could work with guys in their 20s with severe social anxiety. It was just missed out. Nothing was addressed, right? And so
Hmm.
I teach them how to develop social confidence, and it's difficult for these guys because by the time you're in your 20s, You're becoming more established in your profession. Maybe you meet somebody, you get married, you start a family,
Yeah.
and most people are friends with their coworkers and stuff like that. So they don't have that much access to friends as they would if they were still in school,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not to say that adults don't socialize; they just don't have that much access, and it's more based around people you work with and what have you not.
Got it. Yeah. So when it comes down to the social confidence and like social opportunities part, we'll definitely get into that because that's really important, especially as people do get older. Now, you mentioned that one of the problems when they're younger is that sometimes because they're so bright, people might not really understand what they're talking about. Like they can't really find things to build friendships on, right? Because if you have a certain level of, I guess, capability intellectually, you're going to be interested in things that kids your age might not be interested in, right? So that's a major issue there. Now, is there any other things that happened in their childhood that led to them being so socially anxious?
Yes. Then, for those who are not on the spectrum, then you have childhood trauma, right? And it can range to direct abuse, ongoing abuse, the breakup of the family,
Mm.
the absence of a parental figure, father or mother, you know, and in which junior gets lost in the mist. So yeah, those are also contributing factors as well.
Okay, so it seems like it all comes down to family dynamics specifically, right? And then
Hmm.
obviously, if it comes down to childhood trauma, that can go in various different ways. So okay, so it seems like the main two things are trauma and like family dynamics, and if those two are not handled properly, it tends to lead to social anxiety. Correct?
Hmm.
Okay, okay, great.